sorry, girl, but if I had that tattoo, I would have to cover up another cover-up.
My canvas loved it, so I'm gonna stick behind it.
Do it.
Behind you with it too, so.
Somebody's gotta.
For today's elimination tattoo, we're testing your ingenuity by tattooing a cover-up. You have 6 hours, and your time starts now.
You ready for this?
Definitely.
Ingenuity is very necessary to be able to do a cover-up. There's a lot of different elements, understanding the positioning of the tattoo and being able to disperse light and dark evenly so it's not so obvious where the cover-up is.
How you feeling? Good?
I'm fine.
Samurais don't hurt? I am excited I get to do a samurai. I'm not so excited about the piece that I have to cover. What I'm worried is about the size. How the am I gonna make this fast enough, smooth enough to finish on time?
It's gonna be a long day. I don't want to approach this tattoo using a lot of black. I want to get some opaque grays in there. I want to use some kind of texture.
I'm gonna be down to the wire, I think.
I'm sure these other guys are underestimating me. It's my size right off the bat. It's something I've dealt with all my life, but that's what keeps me going. Sooner or later, they're gonna respect me for what I do.
You doing the white down?
Yeah, right down this nose a little bit.
The cover-up, it's not covering. My last option is black.
You know, that's one of the only places I can put a light color, you know what I mean? Because the cover-up is all like right in the middle.
I've been backtracking a little bit, second-guessing myself, so I'm kind of running out of time. I gotta go with the black, and I gotta get this tattoo covered.
5 minutes left.
Time is killing me. I'm really stressed because I don't want to compromise the quality of the tattoo, but I don't want to not finish the tattoo.
Lalo.
One of the most difficult things to cover up is parallel lines, and they took over the whole calf.
I think it could have been better had you added a little bit more flair. You got this big, dark, black ball down there. I think you're gonna put something there, then put something there.
This thing's lacking detail everywhere. I thought you were gonna murder this thing, but it murdered you.
Mike.
I think I covered it pretty well. My client's first option was to do his dog, which was pure white. We all know that wouldn't happen.
It's definitely one of those tattoos that's just got cover-up written all over it.
My first intention with the piece was to do some more hair texture, but I decided to abandon that, block in some solid color, and get that cover-up done.
If you pulled an American Pit Bull reference and you saw that this part was lighter, you would have been able to shade in like some gray, even opaque, and kind of break up this darkness. And I think that's a big design flaw in your tattoo.
Lalo. Mike. Trey. None of you impressed us today.
Mike, you did a big, huge black tattoo. Not exactly what we're looking for.
I think I made the right choice by pounding in the black because my first approach was to load it up with texture, but I don't think my client's skin could have handled it. I'd rather be up here from pounding in solid black than have a screen full of chopped meat up there. Out of all of the bottom three here, the only person that still had a tattoo showing through a little bit was Trey. I mean, we are here to cover up tattoos.
Lalo, you realize that the majority of everything that you're going to be asked to do is going to be pretty heavy outline.
I think the weakest lines are the ones in the background, which I had to do in the end. But that's not an excuse to not do a good tattoo. I can do clean outline.
It's night and day, the performance, man. I hope you can turn it around because I'd like to see the good stuff that I know you have.
Any one of you could justifiably be sent home. The judges have decided. Mike, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
You're simply going home because your color palette is way off because you're in such a dark area. A lot of black. That sent you home today.
Artists, today you must cover up a prison tattoo, proving your flexibility. You have 6 hours to tattoo, and your time begins now.
My canvas wants a realistic baboon. It's a badass looking design, but it's a lot of work to get done with all the texture and detail in 6 hours.
Why'd you have to pick something with all that fur, man?
I could be really shooting myself in the foot here.
Frank.
This is a rough one, man.
Tried to go a little bit ballsy. I knew there was going to be a lot of detail.
But the detail just does not translate. If you just saw the tongue, you're not gonna know that's a tongue.
Looks like a ball sack. There's not one clean bit of outlining anywhere. You showed me everything you can't do. Don't do things to point out your weaknesses. Do things to point out your strengths.
Maddie, how do you feel about what you did here?
For doing a dragon, so I did pretty well.
Towers are way off. The right side of the castle's taking a left.
I did it on purpose.
If you put this stencil on the skin and looked at those two towers and said, let's do this, that's not right.
The area where the cover-up is so much darker than any of the rest of this tattoo.
That's gonna make you feel better? Yeah.
Look at that, dude. That is super badass.
His dragon's better than mine.
Dude, that is bad as hell, man.
The basic thing of this is to find the worst tattoo.
Frank McManus, who feels that should be one of the bottom?
That would be mine. I was going for another pit bull, more realistic, and then we ended up doing a baboon.
It looks like a dead baboon with a broken jaw.
I believe you should have closed his mouth and showed more of the face.
That might be the worst one.
As one of the bottoms. Does anyone feel that Maddie's tattoo should be on the bottom?
Maddie was my artist. She wanted to redeem herself from yesterday.
To me, I see there's no contrast between the castle and the dragon. If she would have made the dragon a different color.
I wanted black and gray, though. That's what I wanted.
So then where'd the red come from?
She hurt me, bro. My screaming on fire. Her technique was not up to par.
So we got Frank and we have Maddie.
Maddie, you're here because the human canvas jury determined that you had the worst tattoo of the day.
Wow.
That's basically a non-tattooing eye calling you out.
I think my design was great.
Why do you have an erect tower and a leaning tower?
It's like it's back here, like turned to the side.
No, it's jacked. It's not right.
If I would have done a portrait, I could have showed, I'm a portrait girl.
Frank.
You didn't get any of the textures. From the hair to the mouth to the teeth.
I really dug the mouth, man.
We're missing everything to judge.
I don't think all the shading's bad on that.
Frank, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
There's not much in this to compare to the other two people that are in the bottom with you. You got outdone.
Please pack your machines and close shop. You have 6 hours to show adaptability with a cover-up. Your time begins now.
Pretty much the same thing what I drew on you.
Is there any way that you can move him over and take the Gavin here off and then do like side ribbons?
I really don't like this. The last thing I need right now is a headache.
This is his son. I wondered kind of where I could put the kids under him.
There's no way to try and peg that in. Stop hindering me with your ideas. I've been doing this for a while, and I have to do this to where it actually works. I got a bad canvas, man.
Playing with color. What color the rose is gonna be.
My big secret is I'm partly colorblind. I haven't told anybody else in the house, but I'm partly colorblind.
Jim, let's start with you.
Doing these roses with all these yellow highlights in there and using that yellow as part of your cover-up, that is gonna show through.
Would you rather me done to black roses?
Definitely wouldn't have used yellow over the top of the old black line cover-up.
You know better. For a cover-up, it's a fail.
King Ruck.
This was a failed attempt from the design alone. To think that you're gonna put 2 gold horseshoes over the top of the darkest part of the tattoo, it's insane.
A bunch of different ways you could approach that. A nice black and blue rose could have been the cover-up. The horseshoes could have been behind it and banners under it.
I've had some bum canvases.
There's 60+ years of tattooing sitting at this table. You cannot tell me about a canvas.
This simple, bold, traditional tattoo, anybody should have been able to just knock it out of the goddamn park.
We're here to determine the worst tattoo of the day.
That's my tattoo, and Jim is my artist.
Can you guys see the old tattoo?
Yes. What is that insect? It looks like a praying mantis with butterfly wings.
The 9 legs are killing me.
I would be pissed with that.
To me, it's phenomenal. I mean, I cried when I first saw it.
That is my tattoo. My artist was King Ruck.
I know that tattoo because I had it before too. You still see the lines. Look in the horseshoes. The lines are still there.
Yeah, you can still see the lines. I'm not pleased at all. The horseshoes to me look like cartoon magnets. The rose is pointed way down.
Not to really piss you off, but I'm going to. That tattoo sucks.
He didn't even listen to anything I said.
Yeah, that sucks. Guys, do we have a decision?
Definitely. Without a doubt.
Jim, you're here because Halo put you up for elimination. Halo, why did you choose Jim?
Jim's didn't really do a cover-up, and I kind of figured Melissa and Ruck were going to be on the bottom anyway. I didn't want my count to be useless, you know, a shell without a bullet, I guess.
I can't really disagree with Halo. Cover up, he didn't do it.
Judge me off my history. All I ever do is just clean work.
King Ruck, you're here because the human canvas jury determined that you had the worst tattoo of the day.
I know what I did. Of course, it's not my best tattoo, but I know that I'm a good tattoo artist.
You did definitely drop the ball on this one.
The judges have decided King Ruck, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. The judges have also decided Jim, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
This tattoo, it's see-through. And for a cover-up, that's a no-go.
Both of you, please pack your machines and close shop.
There was a lot of tattoos that were done today that were not good. Tell Kyle Dunbar that he should have been down here.
Okay, guys, you have 6 hours to help your canvases by covering a tattoo that they regret. And your time starts now.
Nikki has given me the guy who wants the surfer.
He looks so, like, serious.
But my biggest issue is my design. I can't get this water right, and I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna hide this old tattoo completely. And what I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna make like a design under the board too, so that way I don't have to try to do too much. The guys, we're already screwed. The girls keep gaining momentum, and it's gonna be hard to stop them at this point.
My canvas wanted a bunch of different elements, but after talking and consulting, I'm gonna do 2 realistic 3-dimensional roses and a nice little skull.
Ooh, trying to one-up me with some roses, huh?
You doing roses?
Yeah. Damn it.
As a realism artist, I'm excited about this. If I were at home, this would be right up my alley.
Boneface.
You're consistent with application. It's just here you're really challenged artistically. The first thing is the fluidity of the water. It's very stagnant and stiff. It should flow.
The water that's flying, to me, they look a bit like teeth. The hands are really funny to me. Then this board that doesn't really look like a surfboard.
It looks like an ironing board to me. Your problem in this is your planning and your execution of how to get this design to fit into the new design that you have.
Kevin.
At first glance, the tattoo's nice, but why, again, no outlines today?
I'm a realism artist. To put lines in something realistic doesn't make sense to me.
I never do a tattoo without an outline. It looks great in the photo now, but in 1 or 2 years, all those reds are gonna bleed together and all that detail is gonna go away.
If you're not willing to do those outlines, you're gonna have a rough time, because the outline in here is always gonna win.
All right, time to hear from the jury of peers. Why did you vote Boneface to the bottom?
This tattoo is just not good looking.
Just look like a cover-up.
It's fair. And I know improvements that I could have made, and I know where I messed up at. I don't like to make excuses.
How you were gonna work this either into the new image or covering it. You did a partial redo and a partial cover-up. Both failed in this.
Let's move along to Kevin.
I like the tattoo overall. Again, I think an outline is gonna make things a little bit better.
I consciously went in it knowing I wasn't gonna put outlines in it.
It's crazy to me, man. If I was in a competition where the people judging me were telling me advice, I'd listen to them. Time to decide who's going home. Robert.
Boneface.
Boneface. My vote is also for Boneface. The judges have decided. Boneface, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. Please pack your machines and close shop. You have 6 hours to tattoo a cover-up, and your time starts now.
Shrink it by like 20%, because you also see, because of the shape of her body, your circle doesn't stay a circle.
My trouble was that if I shrunk it, the whole body and
It's gonna get real dark.
would be black.
So then what if you just literally just move the whole thing down a bit?
I tried that before.
And it was just too much on her butt?
Also, and yeah, it was too much.
Okay, so then straight up, lose the circle.
Don't do a circle?
Just don't do the circle.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Did exactly what you told me not to do.
Just the most exquisite listener I have ever met in my life. You are.
I want to prove to myself that I can do this, that I can do a good tattoo, a solid tattoo. Throughout my career, I've been told that I won't get that far and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So am I brave enough to step forward and be vulnerable? And I think that is a huge thing for me. Like,
Holly.
You achieve the cover-up fine. It's the rest of the tattoo that falls short.
It's a pretty clunky design. The fact that this branch only just goes one way and all sticks tight together, you could have done something different with it just to make it a little more attractive at first glance.
I hate this tattoo. There's a tree branch growing out of this woman's ass. Also, there's a back that is creasing.
That is swelling.
No, what is swelling is the surrounding area within
Well, the swelling
maybe
is your head right now thinking you got us when you're gonna go home.
Really, you're talking about big heads right now, I'm sorry, girl, but if I had that tattoo, I would have to cover up another cover up.
My canvas loved it, so I'm gonna stick behind it.
Do it.
Behind you with it too, so.
Somebody's got it.
Janelle.
You have an attractive looking tattoo. You do a great job with the cover up. There's nothing that's gonna show through from that tattoo.
But you did a very flat, non-detailed image. Your outlines are pretty shaky in here. The outline on the top of the head, the outline around the bottom of that black hook on the leaf on the bottom, there's challenges left and right on this bad boy.
We both could have banged that thing out with that much detail in 2 hours.
I think that you're trying to save some people.
I'm not trying to save anybody because I'm not blind right here, man.
Everybody here up.
100%. The thing that we are known for doing in this competition is putting ink in skin. Who did that the best and who did it the worst?
That being stated, I would sway my vote to Janelle.
The judges have decided, Janelle, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
Those technical things are what it is.
I appreciate you guys. I'm taking everything in. Maybe next time.
Janelle, you're badass.
Please pack your machines and close shop.
Good job.
Straight to the garbage. That's where those go.
To prove your adaptability, you must draw your tattoo directly onto your canvas's skin, freehand. You cannot use any stencils, and you must draw from scratch with no reference.
Freehand and no reference? Jesse's made a name for himself being an illustrator and coming up with images off the top of his head. I'm screwed.
This is exactly what I need because I want to do something crazy. I want to do what I do. This is my comfort zone.
Guys, this is the ultimate competitive platform right here. This is right out of your brain, right onto the skin. Go at it.
Let's bring in your canvases. You have 6 hours to tattoo, and your time starts now.
Let's get it on! Jesse Smith and Anthony Michaels could easily make it to the finale. One of them's not.
I specialize in little critters, rabbits, squirrels. I do the googly eyes and teeth.
These two tattooers have such a different background.
We can do like a traditional eagle or something.
That's cool.
And that'll surprise the judges because they wouldn't expect that.
Typically, experience is everything, but there are times where inexperience creates hunger and creates drive.
I know the judges wouldn't expect it either, but I'm gonna murder the
We'll have to see how Anthony does going up against a veteran that knows all the tricks.
I'm just drawing right now, seeing what comes out. This is the first time in this competition that I've got a piece of open skin to do whatever I want. I'm taking advantage of it.
I can't even figure out what Jesse's drawing. I can't even.
This tattoo right here is a game changer. If I win, then I've knocked Anthony out, one of the strongest competitors, and I have an easier path to the finale. I'm ready to show these guys what I'm made of.
I screwed up the American traditional clipper ship. I have to redeem myself. I'm tattooing a freehand eagle across the shoulder blades of my canvas. I'm out for blood. I'm creating something that's badass.
All right, guys, you have 4 hours remaining.
Ooh, damn. I think right now Anthony's balls might be bigger than his head. He wants to impress the judges, but I need him to maintain control so that we can make it to the end like we planned.
I would just really like concentrate on making sure they're just perfect, make sure it's just technically on point.
Everybody's helping Anthony out. Nobody's trying to help me out.
Make sure you do tough clubs.
They got 3 on top and then 1 on the bottom. They have 4.
Yeah, 3 on top, 1 on the bottom.
I'm not competing against one person on this tattoo, I'm competing against 5.
I'm pretty sure it's 3 and 1.
But you know what? Adaptability is being able to take a bad situation and make it good.
Everybody's gonna help Anthony because Jesse's tattoo is coming straight from his head. It's not gonna be very easy to critique.
I think you should tell him I did an eagle because he eats little googly-eyed creatures.
Anything you say about it, he could just explain away in some imaginary fairy tale story.
This particular guy lives in the Creotic Sea, preys on skimperfish.
I don't know why Anthony's choosing to do traditional today when he doesn't do traditional. Maybe he's got a point to prove.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is it. Time is up. Machine's down. No more ink.
Woo! Down to the wire. Good job, David. It's badass. You can't get a more different approach on each one, you know?
Pretty crazy, man.
Jesse was smart, doing something that he loves to do. Big-eyed, crazy creatures.
Your Muppet's got toofuses.
I don't know what the hell it is.
Well, they can't get you on anatomy because nobody knows what the that thing is.
But I think it should be way more saturated than it is. Jesse's supposed to be the color guy. Go figure.
Today, you faced off to prove your adaptability by freehanding your design directly onto the skin with no reference. Jesse, let's start with you. So what are we looking at here?
This is a Aka bunnyfish. It's pretty much straight from my head.
It's a very creative tattoo, definitely recognizable as your style of artwork, but at first glance, it's a little bit confusing. The way the body turns around the back and what's going on. Are those supposed to be stitches that are holding the thing together in the back?
Yeah, this particular character, he's been through some bad times. He relies on the pattern on the sides to attract other fish so he can have a meal for the day. It makes me sad to know that he probably won't last that long because he can't move like a normal fish.
Thing's crazy.
You know, there's really nothing you can say about what this is because it's something totally created out of your mind. I think it's a great creative approach. There's some areas that are really shining, the nose, the fang, the little textures that really stand out strong, but there's some saturation issues, some muddy colors like the orange spots that look scratchy and unfinished, and there's some areas that I think could have been a little brighter instead of that pale yellow. Overall, it has a more muted, washed out feel. This was your chance to really do something super bright and poppy on pale skin.
Well, Jesse, there's no doubt about your creativity, but then looking at the consistency of the outline, you have a lot of different line weights. You have some areas where you get a little gray, or you have some thickness where it looks like you had to pick up in some spots. Overall, you did a really cool image. This is gonna boil down completely on both sides of the table to technicalities.
Anthony. This isn't really the most traditional eagle in the world.
I wanted that feel. I know there's so much more about traditional tattooing. There's so many rules involved. So I wanted to be a little looser, but keep some elements of traditional being the black, and I tried to simplify the design as much as I could.
But have you drawn a lot of these eagles?
No.
Drawing an eagle like this from memory, very risky. Just going from nothing and coming up with an aesthetically pleasing look, I think it's a great take. I love this outline throughout. Big, nice, crisp. But there's some questionable ways you did the feathers and the wings.
I didn't want the wings to look so uniform.
I shouldn't be able to see the feather lines go all the way to the base. That black should be black enough to where those lines disappear into the blackness.
Where, to me, things get short is the color. I don't love the brown stripes off the yellow in talons and in the wings. It doesn't speak to me as powerfully as everything else in the tattoo.
What are you guys' thoughts?
It's not apples to apples.
Definitely taking a risk doing a style you're not familiar with. I think is a personal triumph for Anthony. I was happy to watch him swing for the fences on that one.
I see more hiccups on the eagle outline than that one. You know, everybody's like, it's just so crazy, but there's a science to doing what he does because there's 100,000 guys out there trying to do exactly what he does, but it doesn't work. So there is a right and wrong way to do a crazy character like that. When you look at that, you're like, that's Jesse Smith.
But then if you're creating a fantasy character, I have to look at the character and believe that it can function. Jesse's arm coming directly out from underneath the cheek didn't look like it functioned. And then the fin, I don't understand if that's on its back or if it's coming down a ridge or something.
I drew it all on, and as far as adapting from what I normally do, I drew with the tattoo machine while I was going. There was a lot of decisions I made that weren't on there when I started.
Which artist is going home?
I feel like there's some technical problems with both these tattoos.
We will all agree that both have some kind of anatomy issue. We all agree that some areas of each of the tattoo are light, where I would say that there's a gap would come down to outlines. Definitely, Anthony's tattoo has a much stronger outline. Looking at it line by line, pass by pass, stroke by stroke, the finesse that's in that outline, that is what's really strong.
in terms of overall readability and maybe just taking it up a notch. Anthony may have stepped a little bit further out of his comfort zone. My final decision, Jesse.
Jesse.
The judges have decided, Jesse, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
Thank you for the second opportunity. I appreciate it.
Jesse, you do something that is really your own thing. But then the fact that you tell us a sad story about the fish means you're actually thinking it through, which is a true sign of an artist. But it came down today to the simplest part of the whole tattoo, the outline.
Please pack your machines and close shop. All right, guys, you'll have 3 hours to freehand your designs and then 6 hours to tattoo. Based on your work, one shop will be out. And your drawing time starts now.
What's up, buddy?
Picasso, nice to meet you. Other than background, I wouldn't go crazy. We don't need to overcomplicate it.
Oh, Lucas, you know, not overcomplicated.
I'm just trying to make it simple.
Me too.
My approach is to do something simple and very readable for Lalo to tattoo. All he has to do is follow my lines and really make this amazing.
All right, guys, you have 6 hours to tattoo. And your time starts now.
Let's go. Let's do it. This week, the tattooers are being judged on artistry. Freehanding is something that I want to know that an ink master is going to be able to do. Drawing straight on the skin, going directly to your outline with your machine. No stencils.
I'll be done when the time starts, I promise. You shush.
Did you say that?
He's killing me right now.
The person who's drawing has to quarterback the tattoo throughout because they see the vision and they have to translate that to the person that's inking it.
Anytime you do something I don't like, I'm gonna go. For this challenge, we decided it's best if I just walk away and let Lalo do his thing. Sometimes we don't work very good when we're sitting over each other's shoulder.
Do us proud, Lalo.
Don't worry, your pretty little head. I got it.
Please don't screw this up for us.
I'm a little disappointed in House of Monkey, only because I know Picasso's just a monster. It's cool, but he's just so much better than that.
Picasso!
Yeah.
You wanna take a look?
He is going crazy. That color palette makes no sense whatsoever.
Don't be nervous. It's a good day at House of Monkey.
We were supposed to have a nice amount of black and a simple color palette. We didn't need all this blue. Lalo, you had one job. The colors, man.
How did it feel for you?
Feel good? I did a big ass tattoo, perfect lines. What didn't you like?
No, I would've, there's just a couple things I would've did different. But,
I mean, of course.
You know, you're in the driver's seat.
Today you had to prove your artistry. House of Monkey. Picasso did the drawing and Lalo tattooed. I like the drawing a lot, but my only problem with the tattooing is the colors.
The problem with this tattoo is this big, scratchy baby blue bubble on the top and this light green that's not finished in these cactus. It's not solid, it's not smooth, just a lot of sloppiness.
Today, you had to freehand directly onto the skin with no stencils. Based on your work, one shop will be packing their machines. Let's hear from the jury of peers. Why did you vote Black Spade tattooed at the bottom?
A lot of the fundamental technical issues were called out.
And we felt that House of Monkey had a stronger overall design than Black Spade did.
All we needed was a few more things to make this crispy and complete. I think that what they made might have been more of a mess than what you're seeing here.
It's a tough debate. I feel like House of Monkeys, it's a strong line drawing, but there's just a lot of peach, a lot of baby blue, none of which is really applied very well.
All right, it is time to determine who is going home. You know, it's tricky. I admire the artistry in House of Monkey, but the color play within Black Spade is more pleasing. My vote is for House of Monkey as well.
House of Monkey.
The judges have decided, House of Monkey, you do not have what it takes to be master shop.
I respect you coming back, trying to make it, but for you guys, as artistic and free as you are, this place is too restrictive.
Please pack your machines and move out. All right, guys. Welcome to the face-off. Basilica Tattoo, Golden Skull Tattoo, Old Town Ink, and Artistic Skin Design. Based on your work today, one shop will be eliminated. Bubba, Aaron, Christian, Dane, Because you did not tattoo one of the 4 horsemen, you must tattoo in this face-off.
Fair enough.
Your teammate can consult, but cannot draw or tattoo. It's on you alone to keep your shop in this competition. To prove your adaptability, you must draw your tattoo directly onto your canvas's skin, freehand. You cannot use any stencils, and you must draw from scratch with no reference. You've each been randomly assigned a canvas, and the subject and style of your design is completely up to you.
Do something that you know is going to rival the people in the room, and then deliver your best technical application. Looking at how you tattoo these things directly from a pen is all going to show in this challenge. Today could be a major curve.
You have 6 hours to tattoo, and your time starts now.
He's a happy wolf.
I'm a big fan of weird, wacky imagery, and I like to make really weird animal heads.
Hey, Dane, one thing to keep in mind, it kind of looks like his snout is being turned forward.
Doesn't it? So it'd be more like this.
Don't go too big.
I'm not.
At the bottom of the mouth, it's kind of weird.
The nose is too straight on. It needs to be like a little bit more facing this way.
It's hard to separate what the judges want, what my teammates think I should do, what I think I should do. Like, I got 3 voices in my head, and they're all yelling.
You should put cherry blossoms around it.
You guys all want to do crazy ideas and awesome things that if I had more time and could draw it, I totally would.
Yeah.
But I don't want to put too much.
I'd have gone bigger. The little bangers aren't gonna get you to the end, I'll tell you that.
I don't even know if we're gonna have to do much work to break this alliance apart. They seem to be doing it to themselves. Everybody's crowded around Dane, giving him advice. If they don't screw this guy up, I'm gonna be blown away.
I have a feeling me and her are gonna do just fine today.
Are you putting white in the whiskers or?
I want to leave the skin tone.
Okay.
Having so many ideas thrown at Dane right now is just becoming overwhelming.
Keep your head down and just blast through this, all
I'm
right?
trying my best.
He's kind of freaking out a little bit.
I'm doing it. Going AWOL.
What are you doing?
The nose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll make it look more porous without putting like a ton of white in it.
I'm a very OCD now kind of guy. And I think that I've been doing pretty well at trying to keep my stress level down because I don't want to frustrate April at all. She keeps me leveled.
Can I get you anything, or?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I just don't want to let her down.
Today, you had to face off proving your adaptability by freehanding your design directly on the skin with no reference. Artistic skin design. Dane, you tattooed. I really liked the different blends you have going on in the leaves. You were able to put some depth and dimension with the out of focus maple leaves background. It's really well done.
It's very cleanly executed, saturated, nice line work, nice solid black, cool little highlights in the purple lip and the little webbing in the back of the cheek. But I think there's some areas anatomically that are weird. The way the brow furrows without really showing the other lid of the eye, there's a little bit of weirdness going on.
You apply a clean tattoo, but there's 4 clean tattoos in the room. There's a lot of tough decisions to be made today.
Whereas I feel that Dane, it's a little bit more dimensional, it's a little bit more dynamic.
But Dane would have benefited from some reference here.
Dane would have benefited from another eye.
I thought with that eye.
Do you guys feel like the wolf's missing an eye?
No, I think it's super stylized. I've never seen a wolf's mouth roll like that.
Totally. I didn't want to be super safe with it. I like how weird and wacky it is.
At the end of the day, to save your own ass, you want to make sure things line up. You don't want to create questions.
All right, let's make a final decision.
Anatomically, I would have to say that I would vote for artistic skin design to go home.
The judges have decided artistic skin design. You do not have what it takes to be master shop.
In this sea of people, all kinds of good tattoos are leaving. That's how it goes at the end.
Please pack your machines and move out.
Thank you.
You must draw your tattoo directly onto your canvas's skin, freehand. You must push your skills to the limit and expertly finesse your design so that it fits the flow of your canvas's body perfectly. The subject and style of your tattoo is completely up to you.
You can't draw on the skin, you can't lay out a good tattoo, can't be here. It's that easy. Please give us a hard decision. Please show us what you're good at. If you have a mental stencil, today's the day to break it out and use it. You're gonna need it.
Based on your work, one of you will lose your shot at $100,000 and the title of Ink Master. You have 6 hours, and your time starts now.
Ready?
This is your challenge.
Ready, dude?
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
But they already did honey mask. What would be dumb to do?
Whatever you want to do, just do it.
I'm thinking about doing a honey mask because I know I could draw it and tattoo it in 6 hours.
They don't care if they just did a honey mask.
Why the would you care? This is the last tattoo you do ever. Make this the one you want to do.
Yeah. I'm taking a huge risk with this tattoo. Team DJ just did it, but I know I could do a honey mask. I could keep up with DJs.
He can tattoo. It's just his design sometimes is questionable.
Yeah.
And he'll have to figure that out.
He's just picking something that, it was just done.
Well, the funny part is you got two guys that are technically really good at tattooing. And the designs suffer a little bit. And two people can really design, their technical suffers a little bit. So who's gonna outdo who?
Dude, if you do a hanja wonky, Chris is gonna know.
That shows the best that they've got to offer.
For me, they both should go home.
With this tattoo, I'm showing that I do every style known to man. It looks exactly how I drew it. The color's bright, the line work is bold. There's no way I'm going home.
That's pretty awesome, man. Killed it. Thanks, man. Thanks for sitting good.
Today, you faced off by freehanding your design directly onto the skin. Based on your work, one of you will be packing your machines. It's Jeremy. How did you feel about getting this challenge today?
I'm very limited to what I could really draw on the spot. It usually takes me a day or two to draw something perfect. So this is something I could draw that was easier for me to actually pull off a tattoo that's finished.
There's a lot of things going on here. Instead of making it a long, slender face, it's really short and really wide. But what's throwing me here is the way you choose to color this thing. You put the yellow as the light source, but the light source is everywhere, but then the front of the face isn't yellow.
This is a lowrider panel paint job. You got red stripes and red panels and yellow stripes and yellow panels. I don't really like the color placements.
Just the fact you don't count the bottom teeth in between the canines, that's just mind-blowing to me, to have 7 teeth. But they're all straight. Yeah, straight to the garbage. That's where those go.
I give him credit for going for it. You could play safe day, but he really swung for it and obviously missed a little bit here, but he's got a fight in him, People don't think he's fighting because he's quiet and he keeps to himself, but the dude's fighting.
All right, guys, it is time to determine who's going home. I'm seeing the problems that you guys had with Jeremy's tattoo, but also as a canvas, if I got a shark that was all out of whack, I'd be a little bummed out about it.
Rolly's black and gray, Rolly's line work. I think technically Rolly is stronger. But for me, if we go to Jeremy's, the problems I have are light source, construction, composition. It's a complete miss for that, Jeremy.
The judges have decided, Jeremy, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
It's been a great learning experience, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to come here, man.
Please pack your machines and close shop. All right, guys, for this face-off, you must draw your tattoo directly onto your canvas's skin, freehand.
No.
Without using a stencil, you must push your abilities to the limit and skillfully finesse your design so that it flawlessly fits the flow of your canvas's body. The subject and style of your tattoo is completely up to you.
Everything I love to do is realistic, and it's really hard to freehand realism.
Here's your chance. You get to show us what you can do directly on skin. Push yourselves to the limit. Make it legible. Make it clean. It's your job to be able to do it. If not, you shouldn't be here.
Based on your work, one of you will lose your shot at $100,000 and the title of Ink Master. And this time, you have 5 hours, and your time starts now.
Come on, guys, let's get it together. Today, these artists have to freehand. This will be where they pull their mental stencil and show us what they got.
I thought it'd be cool to do a lucky crab claw, kind of like a lucky rabbit's foot.
We're asking them to draw from their head and make it come to life.
I'm doing a traditional rose and a crying heart. Depending on how time's looking, I might even do a realistic eye inside the crying heart.
With color?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
This is totally outside my wheelhouse, but it's definitely something I know I can draw off the top of my head.
You got to splay them leaves a little bit. Otherwise, they're just two of them pointing the exact same.
Are these spread enough, or do you think?
No. No, I'd do one this way, one this way. I never want them going the exact same direction.
If I'm gonna do such a simple design, that means I need to execute it flawlessly.
Super cool.
You better make them bulletproof. Jess is doing a traditional-ass rose right now.
Not even I'm going traditional right now, and that's what I like to do.
5 hours went by quick.
Yeah, very quick.
For me at least, probably not so much for you.
Today, you faced off by freehanding your design directly onto the skin. And based on your work, one of you will be packing your machines. Jess.
It's very stale. This choice to just do this open skin heart with just this true gray in here, really taking it away from what you'd expect to see in a traditional style tattoo of this nature.
The rose has very different, very weird shapes for the exterior petals, not what you want to present on a day where you're drawing for your life.
It's time to determine who is going home.
Today, Jess's is the one that sticks out as the true bottom.
My vote's also for Jess. The judges have decided. Jess, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
Jess, I don't think anybody here has maintained their composure or kept their head as straight as you have. Watching you work is just a pleasure, dude.
I appreciate the opportunity. It's a really humbling experience.
Please pack your machines and close shop. You'll have 7 hours to freehand your design directly onto your canvas's skin. Fail to impress the judges, and you'll be packing your bags. Good luck.
All right, let's go figure this shit out.
So I'm thinking maybe skull around this bottom part and have some way to have the flag like flowing up this way.
If we can somehow have his hand possibly coming out of the side and holding onto a pair of handcuffs.
Okay. This guy wants so many elements, and he's pretty adamant that he wants it on his back. I don't know why I took a flat surface. His back is massive too.
My only issue, like composition-wise, if the flag is unfurled, where it would kind of flow down.
Like he wants it like flat.
This goes against the aspect of it being compositionally correct.
I'm feeling super stressed. If I up, I'm going home on a black and gray tattoo, and that's what I do all the time. Challenge for the day is composition. So yours is like a flat surface, so it's hard to find like a good composition. You can't like move it to like your leg or anything like that, right?
I'd rather not.
All right, artists, you have 7 hours to freehand your tattoo, and your time starts now.
All right.
All right, brother, let's do it.
I'm gonna shave you and get your back prepped, and then I'm gonna play with some stuff on your back and see what happens.
Today we're testing composition, and this is a perfect way because freehanding something onto the body allows for perfect placement. It allows for flow, it allows for the design to move with a muscle or body part.
Don't you wish that tattoo actually felt like this?
Yeah, right.
It'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it?
If you're proficient at what you do, you can draw directly on the skin, use that as your guideline, and sail away.
I'm getting nowhere on the back. If I put the flag there, it's not really gonna show great composition if there isn't a reason for it. Where the flag would have to come, it stops weird. It's not like working.
If you do calf, it's just going to be a better area to do it. You're going to get what you want and still be able to, get an awesome piece.
Yeah, let's do it.
Your calf? Okay.
Work rocket, girl.
Okay, I feel like I can breathe. Now I have to redesign this entire thing.
Get drawing.
I just want a final design to look at when I'm done, you know?
Why are you going to draw it on a piece of paper again? Draw it on the calf. That's your paper.
5 hours left, guys. 5 more hours.
I am learning so much. They call me like the queen of the bottom because like I've done a lot of styles that I don't at home. I do black and gray realism. Yeah. That's what I do.
Ash, shut up. Keep tattooing.
I know, no worse. This is why like.
I was like, when you're talking, you ain't tatting, so shut it.
I'm always like.
I don't need your stories. You need to get your ass finished.
It is absolutely awesome. I can't believe you finished that.
I'm going to throw up immediately after this.
Today, you had to freehand your design directly onto your canvas. Women's team, let's start with you.
I hope they call me first.
Ash.
I was just kidding when I said I wanted to go first.
This really bold, really heavy black style plays well, but compositionally, doing the handcuffs and the skull would have been the best thing for you. You overwhelm yourself with so much flag and so little stars, so much choppiness and unease that you take away from all the nice work that you do in the skull and in the handcuffs. Flags are tough.
Today, you are being tested on composition. Based on your work, one of you will be packing your machines.
I definitely struggled because it was a freehand challenge and I really wanted to take time to like really get my design down on the skin.
Having this big dark area over the top of this bright, nice lit head of the skull, the flag just takes this thing over and you really only needed a little hint of it.
As soon as I started, I knew I kind of messed up with doing it so big.
All right, guys, time to determine who's going home.
Anatomy problems on Jason, I think the more you look at it, the more those things stand out.
What it comes down to for me is that Ash's looks like a cover-up. The top triangle, because it's so out of sort, just that section looks like you covered something. My vote's for Ash.
The judges have decided, Ash, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
You're resilient. You keep coming back. You never throw your girls under the bus. That quality for you as a human is an amazing quality. Don't ever lose that. Stay strong, stay loyal, and keep learning.
Yeah.
Ash, please pack your machines and close shop.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody. It's time for you all to tap into your proportion skills and tattoo a pinup girl on your human canvas. You'll be judged on the proportion of your pinup. You have 5 hours to complete your tattoo. The clock starts now.
Oh my God, that's perfect, dude.
Great pinup tattoos consist of beautiful features from the hair to the toes. The artist's main job here is to play with proportion. If you don't do the exaggeration the right way, it's gonna be obviously off.
I'm just happy that you're putting it there because I really was against going anywhere else.
I love those boots. It makes her look like a fetish.
Are these gloves that she has on?
No.
Oh, no?
I mean, I can put glove on her if you want.
I think the gloves will do a little bit something like that too, you know?
Yeah,
I think it's gonna look cool.
Beautiful, man. Leah's piece looks a little off. Her proportions were off, and like the way things bent on the human body. She didn't really tackle the job well.
Are you done?
No. I wish.
Leah. Going home. You had a tough week last week. It was a close call for you. How are you feeling about this?
I feel good about it.
To me, pinups are stunningly gorgeous, and this one isn't. This is a disaster.
The elbow on her left arm, it doesn't look right with the angle. She doesn't have her arm twisted the correct way, and it doesn't look proportionate.
I really don't think I did a bad job. I think that she's a good base, and I can go back into it, add the details.
This isn't a competition to go back into it. You're here to do one great tattoo and walk away and compete.
I understand, but...
There's no buts.
Okay,
it's not.
but
I mean, as far
in
as
5
this goes,
hours, this is what I have, so...
I don't know if you guys are just beat up or what, but I'm looking at the best 5 out of the 10 that are here, and this week's tattoos look like we're back in the beginning again.
You know, I get it that here we're supposed to, like, push ourselves, like, all the way to the end, you know, but...
You didn't come here to win today.
Leah did not put enough definition into the pinup.
They equally did bad faces. He did 2 right feet, and she did 1 claw.
The gloves were an afterthought. I didn't think that it was gonna affect like the hand like that. I didn't realize because I added it like after I did the drawing, and then when I did the shading, it's changed everything. I think I put the glove thing in the wrong. It's changing the whole arm.
Faces are a son of a bitch because they're 1 line away from greatness or failure. It's just consistency, and most everybody up here has shown consistency. All of you guys have pretty much been hanging. Whether you win or whatever, you guys have all been in the same position. You've been erratic.
The judges have decided. Leah, you don't have what it takes to be Ink Master. Please pack up your machines and leave.
Halfway through the tattoo, I realized those legs took me too long.
Cool legs.
I know.
Got 2 hours. Lalo, he's way behind everybody in this challenge.
Time is a problem.
Dude, that is scary. The face, it looks like Chucky. This week, we asked you to tattoo a pinup as gorgeous as the real thing, based solely on your photos. We were testing your attention to detail. Lalo.
This
It's the detail challenge. We're here looking for fine line details. This tattoo has very little detail at all. The little strap of her dress is just scritchy scratch lines that don't connect.
I hate to say this, but I ran out of time.
Damn, it's killing me.
I know the face didn't come out as I was expected.
Lalo next up here.
Artistically, this thing was butt-ass ugly in the sketch, in the line drawing, in the stencil, and in the tattoo.
Lalo, another tough outing. What's going on?
What happened with this pin-up today, I can't even understand how it happened. The only variable here that I think it makes the whole thing different is time. I never miss a face like that. I'm very methodic with what I do, but I never have pressure of time or nothing. I never start a tattoo until I'm ready. I came to a competition to compete, and there's no excuse for that.
The judges have decided. Lalo, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
Lalo, you had a really rough run, buddy.
Having a darker canvas does not give you the ability to do bright colors. I'm a color specialist, so I hope to just kind of pass by on this one.
Canvas, sometimes they ask for things that you really don't want to do.
Craig's weakness is gray wash, and if you can't do gray wash, you shouldn't be able to be an ink master.
Craig.
When you take a black and gray look, but you go at it in a color approach, meaning you're coloring in such massive areas of the whole figure and not letting it breathe, it just gives it a weird look.
I'm toning down my coverage from the Day to Dead.
You're getting better, but this whole approach to making it so solid and so colored, it's just gonna work against you. You need to get black and gray in your bag of tricks. This thing is just gray. These solid, dark fields of it don't do anything flattering for the woman's composition.
Craig.
The tattoo is just not appealing to me.
I did my best with the canvas and the piece I had to do.
But the shading, all these light grays scribbled roughly in here, it's knocking it down even further.
The judges have decided. Craig, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
Craig, the issue is if you can't do black and gray, you can't be Ink Master. It's your Achilles heel.
Please pack your machines and close shop.
I didn't raise no fool, bro. I had a football player model, and I convinced my canvas to change it to a military-style pinup. They're sexier. I can show more artistry in that. I'm ready. I'm hungry. $100,000 on the line, and I'm getting that money.
That's different. LT has the worst tattoo in this challenge. His lines are shaky, it's scratchy. His lack of experience is obvious. He doesn't stand a chance.
That's awesome, man. I'm so glad we decided to change.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
LT.
It's a big-ass mouth she got. She definitely doesn't come off with that cute look. You gotta remember that when you do these small little faces, the smallest little mistake makes a big impact.
My biggest mistake is I went too small with the piece.
But there are good tattooers out there that can bust out a pinup girl this size and do it perfectly. If you can't stack up to what we know is possible, then it doesn't look good for you.
LT?
There's so many shortcomings. His line work, the eyes, the eyebrows, the lips.
It's a mess.
LT, you're here because the human canvas jury determined that you had the worst tattoo of the day.
The overall design and the application was really lost in translation. There were a lot of mistakes and misfires that could have been avoided.
I know deep down inside my heart that I can tattoo better than these guys. I have more to show. This is not my best work by far.
You need to put out your best work in this competition to win.
The judges have decided. LT, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
It was a tough day for you. You have about 10% of the experience of the guys next to you. Those guys are technically a lot more solid than you are.
Please pack your machines and close shop.
5 hours left. 5 more hours.
Luckily for me, I don't think Gia has what it takes to do this challenge because she can't pull a clean line.
Boneface needs to go. If he screws up in this challenge, then I'm almost guaranteed a spot in the top 5. I don't have a great report card. This is totally my make or break tattoo, and so I have to nail this.
Gia is my girl, and I am seriously worried.
Did you see everybody else's?
Well, I just saw Gia's. I told her she got the one that I would have wanted. It was the cat.
That's the one I wanted too, but Gia has a worse report card than I do, and so I took one for the team.
That's literally what we thought.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. That is awesome.
Gia.
Get right into the fence. You literally just have 4 broken pieces of wood that are nailed together in a knot in a square. I know you're going for that look like it's a fence falling apart, but I don't feel like you got that.
Once you really get into this and you start looking at anatomical issues, from the bend of the back to the knee, there's just a soft crescent moon shape that drops all the way to the ankle. There is no calf, there is no distinguishing shape. If you're gonna do a beautiful pinup, you don't wanna give her cankles.
There's definite problems with that ankle, or lack thereof an ankle. Definite problems with the leg that's going up that looks very thin. And up against the other people that are in the bottom, you're the one that's had the most technical flaws throughout this competition.
The judges have decided, Gia, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. Please pack your machines and close shop.
Today we're gonna make these artists switch every 30 minutes because we wanna see that you can do it all. If you came with a strong teammate, then you shouldn't have any worries.
As far as black and gray versus color, I think we would be cutting it super close if we did color. We think with black and gray, you would get a better quality tattoo. We can move right along versus like trying to rush pack.
I really don't want it black and gray though.
My biggest concern is her skin type. There's wrinkly skin and it's super hard to pack color.
I know you really want color. We just want to make sure you get the best tattoo possible.
I really wanted to have color.
We're
Ooh wee.
You okay?
Yeah, I gotta be or it ain't getting done, right?
We're definitely just feeling the pressures of things with our canvas not working with us and not budgeting on the black and gray. The color's definitely taking a long time. There's that skin tone there, you know what I mean?
There's more of a skin tone.
I just wish we would stop getting dealt canvases.
I'm so jealous you guys got the cowgirl. Pins and Needles is tattooing a weird, unattractive lady wearing like a big, oversized hat and a meat sack. It's strange.
Pins and Needles. It's not the most attractive pinup.
The skirt looks more on the side of a dripping petal or lunch meat, anything other than fabric. We gotta talk about these legs. The back leg is just one width, one thickness, all the way up.
Wait, which one's the back leg?
That's the other debate. And you thought this is gonna fly, then you guys are crazy.
I would also say that Pins and Needles had a rough day. Proportionately, it seems completely crazy. That hand on top of the hat is just, it's not a human hand.
No.
Pins and Needles.
There's a slew of problems that I have. The feet on this, the legs on this. You guys are just drawing at straws here on shading this tattoo.
Ours definitely does have some issues, but I feel like the stuff that they had going on kind of stood out a little bit more.
I think there's equal technical challenges. My decision based on proportion is Pins and Needles.
You know, my vote is always based on what just looks right. My vote is for Pins and Needles. The judges have decided, Pins and Needles, you do not have what it takes to be Master Shop.
You guys built a brand, and you really put some shining work out there. You guys definitely gave the big dogs a run for their money.
Thank you.
Please pack your machines and move out.
It's a little wide for her. She's so narrow.
Yeah, this leg doesn't look like it would make sense now.
Kay does not have what it takes to be in this competition unless Jimmy's there holding her hand, guiding her through everything she's doing.
The way I see it, it's like her leg needs to come up like there or something.
That's a tricky one.
Kay is screwed.
Have you been doing this for a long time? Tattooing?
Mm-hmm.
I've been tattooing for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm the baby here, the greenest one. I mean, I'm one of the oldest tattooers here, but one of the least experienced, yeah.
In this competition, I might assume that I have a lot more time under my belt simply because I'm one of the oldest people here, but I have the least amount of experience compared to everybody else.
Obviously, like, these lines are my weakest lines, so I'm wondering if I should shade one way on it.
You can? Like, bring it, like, shade from that way, like, down like that?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
I don't know why she wanted this tattoo, because she has issues pulling lines in the first place. Kay needs to go home.
So what do you think? I'm glad I chose black and gray. Even though I only had 3 hours to do mine, I know I'm safe. Who do you think's not safe? I don't think Kay's gonna be safe.
I love her. I think she's so beautiful.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. Ooh.
K. It raises some questions anatomically.
That dark walnut brown, it looks scribbled over with a crayon. And then the red in the flame, worst application of the day right there.
Okay, the biggest issue is the application that's in this big stand-up base. It's the color choice and the way that it goes in.
As soon as I started doing it, I knew that it had been the wrong choice. I didn't want to give you guys just a pinup.
All three of you on the line hit some very strong shortcomings against a field that was really, really talented today.
So we're looking at between Kay and Jessa. This is between the East and the East.
There's a little bit of rough application in Jess's, but the roughest application of the day is in Kay's tattoo.
Application aside, just in terms of anatomically laid out, my vote's for Kay.
Kay.
The judges have decided, Kay, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
It takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage to show up here with only 3 years under your belt. Congratulations making it this far.
I am just incredibly grateful to have had this opportunity, and you guys are all my family.
Yeah.
Please pack your machines and close shop. You have 6 hours to give your canvas a realistic landmark tattoo that shows dimension. Your time starts now.
Let's get to it. Let's do it.
In giving Tattoo Baby Mount Rushmore, I don't know how she's gonna fit 4 heads on a mountain in 6 hours. Have at it, baby.
I think you got a good one.
My plan of action is to give him part of Mount Rushmore, a corner side where you only see 2 presidents and the flag behind it.
So far, so good. I'm almost done with the faces.
It's gonna be badass.
This is pretty flat. It's all hit with like a direct light. I'm gonna use different line depths to really make this thing pop and show dimension.
There's absolutely no dimension to this tattoo. Josh has spent way too much time on his actual line work when he should have really been spending more time on his shading.
Don't bring negativity into my space and we'll be good.
Negativity. I am super stoked to have somebody that can see, after only meeting him for a few minutes, that he is a big freaking jerk.
Obviously, Josh was talking because he can't compete, but when it comes down to it and you have to put up, I don't think he's got it.
2 more hours, everybody.
I'm happy that I got the Brooklyn Bridge. I should be able to rock this. The picture itself is gonna show dimension automatically. You've been to this point in the bridge right here? Like, yeah. Of course. Yeah, right?
Yeah, see it all the time.
ES's tattoo, man, there's a lot of things wrong with it. On the wires, his lines aren't all straight, so he's shading them dark over it just to kind of compensate that. He's just missing the mark.
3, 2, 1. That's it. Time's up, machines down. No more ink. This week, we asked you to use dimension to tattoo a recognizable landmark. ES.
The picture's, a good picture to choose, like, as far as perspective and the way it fits the arm. With so much line work, there should be different sizes. Everything's equally the same thickness, and it kind of loses itself.
Had you have used a thin liner and done those bridge lines lightly, it wouldn't look as similar. Everything looks the same. That's where Joey did everything so tiny and fine and then had those heavy areas. It's night and day.
2 different bridges, though, if you think about it.
At the end of the day, having to go apples to apples, yours versus his, you see the major differences.
Joshua, do you think that you were given this canvas by Jason intentionally?
I mean, the whole group's kind of sat down and said, oh yeah, it's now a game of giving Josh whatever we don't understand. So I've kind of slipped into that role of being the bad guy.
The difference here, bro, is I want a healthy competition. I'm just trying to stir the pot. You, on the other hand, do out of malicious intent.
So now you see what I've been dealing with.
This is probably the best canvas for you. It was one of the most outline-intensive designs. You've shown your strength in outlining throughout this competition, but where's the contrast? Where's the dark shadow? Where's the depth? You've got a lot of solid area of this light gray color. You don't have any shading. You miss the mark of the day, which is dimension.
Tattoo Baby.
I do like the shape of this tattoo, like the way it fits the side of the leg. I like the flag, the color works awesome, but you lose it in the faces. On one side of Lincoln's face, it would be darker, and you have white on both eyelids. That makes it unrealistic.
That rich black silhouette of Lincoln's face carrying over to the other face is exactly what you need in this. It would have made the color pop. It would have made everything look so much better. You invented a half a portrait for nothing. You screwed yourself on this one.
Yes, Tattoo Baby, Joshua. Your tattoos fell flat, and one of you will be packing your machines. The human canvas jury had a very difficult deliberation. The jury voted that Tattoo Baby had the worst tattoo of the day.
These faces, they're just bad. There's no other word other than unacceptable for this.
When I was done with it, I was actually pretty satisfied. But then coming here and getting your critique, I'm just reevaluating it and learning from it.
You're not doing the things that got you voted back. Your head's elsewhere. And unfortunately, it really shows on this client.
Yes.
This was my least favorite tattoo. I just didn't like how it fades off into nothing.
If I would have put some clouds back there, it would have smoothed out the whole effect.
It's not even only about the background. It just wasn't thought through the way it was just gonna fade off. It just wasn't up to par.
Joshua.
You did such a flat piece. You overdid it with the outline, left yourself no time to put any shading in here, and today is Dimension Day. It's a bummer that someone with such a technical outline is down here in the bottom.
I have a flat wall. Literally, it was an impossible task.
Maybe you were just shaking your head. What were we thinking?
I think you could have put dimension into that piece.
You guys do know that I am the most technically capable person in this competition, and I'm a few bad decisions away from being one of the best artists here.
I disagree. You've been asking for certain things, and he hasn't given those things, and he's been here in the bottom a lot of times.
Upstairs in the house, all he does is cause problems, man.
Up in the house, all I do is defend myself against all your attacks.
We don't attack you.
Everybody
We're just...
does.
I don't bust out excuses. What kind of honor is that?
The judges have decided. Yes, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
It comes down to which one of these tattoos has the most weaknesses.
Please pack your machines and close shop.
I think the judge's decision was wrong. It's like a slap in the face. Josh should have went home. I could draw way better than that kid any day. It's whack, it's bull.
All right, you have 6 hours to tattoo your canvas's spine, and your time begins now.
All right, let's do this. Spine tattoos require finesse for the simple fact that you have to line up the tattoo perfectly on the spine to fit the body, and they're very painful.
Okay, this bottom section I'm gonna have to move because your spine's a little bit off.
Today I'm looking for a straight up battle.
Yeah, man, looks good.
I'm looking for everybody to put up a fight and try to stay in this competition.
Your job is to sit still, relax, enjoy the ride.
Let's do it.
Ready to rock it out. Last time I competed, the judges made the wrong decision. I shouldn't have been eliminated, and I'm here to make sure that doesn't happen again.
3, 2, 1. That's it. Time is up. Machines down. No more tattooing. Today, you had to show finesse by tattooing on a difficult body part, the spine. Jason, you went up against Josh. As far as the Empire State Building itself goes, when you have this close of an image of it, those lines have to be exactly parallel in order to really create that structure. And at the top of this thing, before you get to that needle, those lines are a little bit wobbly.
Putting the needle through the letter was a bad idea. His name has got to be more important to him than this needle, and you should not change the shape of that letter.
That was not my intentions. My intentions were to not blow up that building so damn big.
Any which way your intentions were, it changed the eye to it. Anything else but that. You can't change the shape of somebody's letter, their tattoo, regardless of what it is.
Either, Chris. If you'd have put that thing any lower with the concave of his back, then your building would have went like that.
I don't think there's that many tattooers in the building that would have run a needle through a letter. And everybody behind you is shaking their head no.
Josh. You were dealt the same hand as Jason was. What was your plan here?
He's a huge dude, and because of the size of his back and because of the concave, I had to do a lot of straightening of lines while I was tattooing.
Obviously, these long lines on this curvature of the body, you're gonna have some warped areas. But overall, it's very clean. Technically, it's a strong tattoo. It really does have a striking image. It's bold.
This was the hardest tattoo of the day by far. I think you did a good job for what you were given.
Time to poll the judges between Josh and Jason.
It's a clear-cut decision here. I mean, one of them stands out and looks strong and technically precise, and go with Josh.
I'm gonna go with Josh as well.
Josh.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
You will all have 6 hours to tattoo a new school landmark. And your time starts now.
All right.
I'll go ahead and put the stencil on you now.
If you can't draw on this tattoo, you're definitely gonna have a hard time.
The buildings, I'm gonna make them just really contorted.
This now is crunch time for both teams. I think Ollie and I are in a dead heat. I don't think anybody's really running off with this thing yet. I just want to get to 5, and then I'm gonna show them what's up.
Instead of doing this top part, I'm gonna just make that the top of the torch and bring it back behind there. So it fits. Yeah. Is that a good call?
Yeah. For me as a captain, if my team is supposed to be the strongest and best it can be, then I'm happy to get rid of the weak ones.
This is your final hour.
What if I go to the bottom today? My report card can't help me too much. I gotta prove that I can be in the top 10.
Our man Tito's in deep.
Yeah, you're not looking good. Drawing is key today. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is it. Time's up. Machine's down. No more ink. Team Nunez, today you had to show artistry by transforming a famous landmark into a new school tattoo. Nikki.
It's questionable whether people are going to recognize this as a Lincoln Memorial. You've got to force that perspective all the way down so you could show both hands, maybe show more than memorial. The feet should be this big and the head should be this big. That's like a hard forced perspective.
My handicap in this is I've been tattooing for 5 years. I don't know this style very well.
I really dislike the shape of the background. This hard shaped patch looks super off. I hate the cupcake frosting hair all the way around the face. What happened?
I was struggling a lot with making sure that it wasn't too wacky and too unrecognizable.
Your limitations of what you thought was crazy held you back.
Tito.
Testing artistry, I have a multitude of problems with this drawing. The mouth is completely jacked. It's out of shape. Statue of Liberty, 7 points on her crown. You have 6. And that last point on the other side of the head, there's no way that point is connected to that crown and the direction that crown is turning.
New school, you bend it.
Weird choices. This is where your artistry is falling short. You should have just looked at the Statue of Liberty and drawn your own version.
Time to hear from the jury of peers. Team Peck, why did you vote Tito to the bottom?
There was just so many things wrong with it. The hairline, the eyes, the eyebrows. He was thinking just because it's new school, he could just do whatever with it, but it still gotta look good.
But does it look like a Statue of Liberty? All day.
Tito,
because
where did you even try in the
I'm
drawing
talking
process?
The biggest letdown of this whole thing is just doing a floating head. It's a monument. And if all you're gonna do to stay in this competition is draw a head, then you wrote your own ticket.
You know I got the fundamental. Some of the people, they can't pull straight line from day one.
Keywords today was a landmark, Nikki. So you needed to show more of the image.
I think it's not being completely knowledgeable of what new school is.
It's just
that I
that
didn't put his whole body in there.
We don't know that this is the memorial. That's the main issue. Judges, time to determine who's going home.
Tito.
Chris?
Tito.
My vote is also for Tito. The judges have decided. Tito, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. Today, you must tattoo a black and gray, realistic U.S. landmark.
What? Shit.
Wow. Fail to impress the judges, and you will be going home. Good luck.
How's it going, man? I'm Bob.
Nice meeting you.
How's it going? Today, I'm not looking for these guys to do a portrait of a landmark. I'm looking for these artists to render a landmark any way they see fit.
The Portland Headlight. It's a lighthouse known for being on a rock ledge.
This is a tough ask. The landmark has to be recognizable. Otherwise, it could just be a corner in your block.
I gotta look up pictures of what Independence Hall looks like.
Black and gray, realism, that's my thing. And honestly, I'm not even worried about the ribs. It's just, I don't think we're gonna be able to find a picture that'll fit that area and make it look good. That's my only concern.
I don't have very many other areas.
When I picked this canvas, 50% of my strategy was being able to move it. But she doesn't have any open areas.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff.
So I'm now.
This side is open.
Yeah, that would be the ribs.
What was your idea? Was the White House?
The White House, yeah.
The White House. Lower back wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't a realism day. Left or right, which one do you feel better about today?
So you don't think in the middle?
Just because of how this dip kind of happens in there. Whatever you put across there is kind of gonna have like an indent and it's never gonna be like flat. If I have to put the White House in the center of his lower back, there will be warping and it's just not gonna fit well.
And I'm not sure if I'm gonna get two like lower back tattoos. That's the only thing.
I got you. If I can't move this placement, then even done great, it's going to be bad.
I kind of really just want it in the center. I'm not gonna get two tramp stamps.
I'm in trouble. It does a weird thing when it's on you, and it makes it look very convex. It's gonna look weird. Do you have anything hip area at all?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
I could do that.
This one here?
Yeah, I can make that work.
You all right? I can't tell what that means, man. You just keep laughing.
From the first line I pull, this dude is in excruciating pain.
Oh my God. I don't even have the needle on you right now.
Oh, that won't hurt, son. It's a nightmare. I cannot get any area of solid, clean tattooing on this guy, and I'm
All right. Let's take like a 3-minute break and throw some water on my face. Oh my God. I don't want to throw up on you.
It sucks to know that after all the hard work, I could be going home because this guy can't sit still.
4 hours left. You have 4 hours remaining, everybody.
Yeah, my parents would probably like this spot better than the tramp stamp.
It's a mean spot, like the one on the back there. I'm feeling much better about doing this tattoo on the thigh, but it's still tricky. It's called the White House, and I have to recreate this in black.
When did you start tattooing?
I started tattooing at 17, and that was 15 years ago. That's what they wanted to see, right? Yeah.
Realism is a time-consuming process. I don't do realism, so I'm trying to race through these last little details.
I don't even know if I'm gonna even put any of the gesture lines because of all the rocks and stuff. It just kind of simplified everything else.
Also, I still have the face of the dam to shade, which is the most important part because that is the monument. If I don't shade the monument, then I'm screwed.
Cool, man.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Machine's down. Time is up. No more ink. Today, you had to show smooth shading, tattooing a black and gray, realistic U.S. landmark. Let's see how you did. West, you're up. Bob.
The problem is it's such an immense structure that anywhere there is detail is going to be so tiny when you show the whole thing.
I realized that when I got down to doing it.
Did you ever consider not putting the top on and just working up to the rim of the dam?
But it does have those towers, and I didn't want to like omit something that makes it what it is.
Your one area of really nice shading is the face of the dam. Your rocks look really nice on the lower sections. The top just has an unfinished look. I respect your moxie to go for it, but the top of this tattoo is a pretty big miss.
Stay strong, sir. East, you're next. Jessa.
It is pretty messy. It's got rough line work, it's got rough shading. If we look at the underside of the road, all that black is just really stripy.
For me, the real problem is that this road just does not line up with itself, and the fence doesn't line up with itself.
Your illustration is a very smart approach. It's just nothing's real consistent.
Midwest, you're next. Frank.
It's definitely recognizable, but it is very messy. The amount of detail you put in this thing for a 6-hour tattoo is crazy.
We're testing shading today. And yes, you have dark areas, you have mid-tone areas, you have light areas, but there's no gradient, there's no transitions from dark to light.
They're not wrong.
Today, you are being tested on shading. And based on your work, one of you will be packing your machines. Angel, why did the jury appear to send Frank to the bottom?
At almost any point, I can zoom into it and find an issue. For example, look at the right 3 pillars. Those 3 aren't shaded the same at all.
The light's coming from one side, and that's why the pillars are shaded differently as they move back to where the shaded part is.
No, I mean they're shaded differently from each other.
Yeah, because
not
they're
from the other
different
side.
pillars.
They all should have different shading because it is round and the light source is gonna hit it differently.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that I did the best tattoo I've done here. Like, that's not what we're arguing.
But you can tell that's the White House.
So did you disagree in terms of voting Frank down?
Oh, big time. I voted for Bob because his by far the most illegible in the room.
I really wanted to show all the pieces of the dam. I've been there before. If I had just chopped it off at the top, I'm gonna get ridiculed forever for being like, yeah, but that's not the full dam. You didn't include the other power unit.
Not by me.
At least it's architecturally correct. The Brooklyn Bridge, the bridge does not pass through that giant concrete slab that's at the bottom.
It's still recognizable as what it is.
But it's wrong. Like, you're doing a national landmark. It should be correct and true to the landmark.
I wish that I could have put some more stuff into there, but I mean, it does look like the Brooklyn Bridge.
All right, judges, it is time to determine who's going home.
Out of all 3 of these tattoos, Jess's tattoo had the best approach on this thing and still lost it.
But I would say that Jess's tattoo still looks like the bridge.
Yes.
When I look at Bob's tattoo, it takes me a moment to figure out, oh, this is the Hoover Dam.
The thing about Bob's tattoo is his black's not solid in the water, but the bottom section is carefully rendered. At least there's a glimmer of application. Jessa, for what little there is everywhere in this, from line work to shading, there is not little problems, but major problems. Jessa, my vote's for you.
My vote is for Jessa.
The judges have decided. Jessa, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
Yeah, I don't think I could get out of my head, man.
You proved your mettle to yourself. You got everything in front of you. Take it and run with it.
Please pack your machines and close shop.
Come here. Good job.
Thanks.
It's not fixable. That portrait will never look right.
Today, you must create a portrait tattoo. Remember, we're testing precision. If your tattoo doesn't look like the picture, you'll be packing. You have 6 hours to tattoo, and your time starts now.
Let's do this, man.
I'm not gonna lie, dude, I was looking at like your art and it was kind of making me a little nervous because it's a portrait and I didn't really see any of those from you. So I was like, oh my God. I'm putting a lot of faith in you. That woman's a saint in my eyes. She always will be.
You know, you gotta have confidence in your artist because that negative projection sometimes works against you. My canvas is putting an immense amount of pressure on me.
Her face looks a little bit fatter.
We squish it down so it looks fatter. When we put it on your leg and it curves around your leg, it's gonna look skinnier. You see how it skinnies out? I'm convinced that the curve of the canvas is going to elongate the portrait. By squishing it down a little bit, it's going to compensate for that. I need you behind me on this, man.
Trust me, I need to be behind you on
Good,
this.
good. Everybody's wondering if I can pull this portrait off. It's pretty intimidating.
This is the worst picture to work from.
Because of the contrast and the grain.
The blur, yeah, the graininess. Look at it.
The photo, blurry as hell, but I got enough of the gist to actually follow the blur to make it sharp. And it's because I am a portrait artist.
I have to find the clean parts of that in my head.
You have to be able to pull off bad pictures sometimes. Pulling that off will be a guaranteed win.
I start coloring in the hair, and I'm realizing that squishing the photo was a bad idea. How you feeling about it?
As long as she don't look like she just got out of Taco Bell, I'm golden.
I gave this guy a fat grandma. That's the one fear that my canvas had.
We still talk about her like she's in the next room. That's how much she meant to the family.
I'm trying to project confidence in this scenario, even though I'm super freaking out on the inside. To make her look a little thinner, I kick a little more shadow on the jawbone, and I also bring the hair in a little bit on the right side. But even after all that, it still looks chubby.
You're like, I'm covering the face. I don't want anyone to see it.
Jesse squeezed the image. I'm not sure where that was a good idea.
I'm looking around at all the tattoos, and I'm realizing that mine's the worst. When it comes to elimination, whoever I'm in the bottom with, I'm hoping the judges will see more potential in me moving forward than them.
Mr. Jesse Smith. How you feeling about this?
I feel like I dropped the ball.
We're judging precision. I gotta say, I don't feel like any of the details in this tattoo are precise.
The hair could be a little more realistic. Hair is a tough thing to do. It's one of the hardest things in a portrait. It could have been more detailed. It looks a little too just not real enough.
You look at this photo, you see strands. The way you tattooed this hair is more like a weird fur/tribal pattern. Not to mention just the entire perimeter of the face does not look the same. You totally it up.
I mean, I don't have too many legs to stand on here. My portrait obviously sucks. And if we're looking for precision and detail, this is Sebastian's strong suit. So if there's one thing he shouldn't drop the ball on, it should be this. If I dropped the ball in new school and I was in the bottom 2 in new school, I would have sent myself home.
Would like to say Jesse's a dickhead for throwing me under the bus. He didn't execute precision. Jesse made his face fatter. That's up precision, trying to make a face fat.
What's that, Sebastian?
Talking about executing precision. Like, he made a face fatter. You don't ever change the actual face, literally change it.
I'm seeing a new side of you today.
To hear him throw me under the bus like that is not a happy moment for me. Make a case for yourself. Don't make a case off of me.
But that's what you do, man. You should have nailed it. That's all I gotta say.
The judges have decided. Jesse, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
Get the out of here.
To do a portrait, your accuracy has to be 100% on point. One little difference in any part of a face, and your portrait looks completely off. There's no way around it.
Even if the tattoo is perfect,
Perfection, yeah.
they're gonna be like, why did you cut this piece out for not that, you feel me?
Yeah.
I'm stunned.
I kind of figured.
And you're ready to just tackle this thing.
Yeah.
Jimmy's doing a tattoo of one of his judges. That's gotta be pretty intimidating.
There are a lot of moles back here.
I know. My question is, if it's not the back, what do you suggest?
You got things on your legs at all?
No.
I would probably suggest legs, I guess. My canvas wants a tattoo on her back, but it is moly back there. I need a tattoo her somewhere else.
Who won the Flash Challenge, Jimmy?
Yes.
I guess he screwed you, huh?
If she's gonna stick to her guns, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll end up with a portrait of her mother on my leg.
Wow. What do you think?
I love it.
Oh my.
What do you think?
Wish I looked like that.
I need to prove that I can do other things. It's going to be a big feat in itself today if I can make it past this point as one of the new school kids.
So do you do much like realism portraits?
I would say almost absolutely not at all.
Somehow, I wiped his entire right eye off of my stencil. Pattern is going away, especially in the areas where I don't need it to go away. If you lose part of your stencil, 99.999% of the time you do not want to try to freehand something on a face.
Just do them one-eyed.
As if it wasn't bad enough, this guy's sitting there watching me up. I need to fix this.
You know, like over her shoulder watching? We decide we're gonna tattoo her on her calf. She's not a big girl, and it's a lot of detail in this small spot. Every wrinkle, every strand of hair, every eyelash is going into this tattoo.
Can't believe the work that goes into this.
I have to at least try to take this home for my family. I can't keep being the bottom of the barrel.
You make sure you tell him if he's doing something wrong.
Kyle's looks like a ball of raisins kind of like smashed together. Is that horrible for me to say? He should be trying to soften her face and just show the main shapes of her face rather than every single wrinkle.
Today, you had to tattoo a subject intimidating for even the best tattoo artists. A portrait. Jason, you're up first. Was it nerve-wracking to have the subject of your portrait sitting in the room with you as you were?
It's a little threatening because they're standing right there.
Yeah.
This is testing every one of my panic disorder buttons.
Overall, man, you did do some neat tricks to get some detail in there. The mustache and the beard, the detail is very nice. The mouth, you captured the little smirk. There's a couple spots you lost me on accuracy. Just the shape of his hair, the way it goes onto his shoulder, it doesn't have the same shape. But accuracy in the glasses, that's the big fudge on this thing.
It looks like you kept trying to sculpt it, and then you ended up changing the shape of the glasses.
Tried to put white in there, and then I noticed that it was thickening up.
This was the tattoo that needed the most accuracy because there were so many different textures. If you can't nail each texture, then it shows up a lot. It just threw it off.
Kyle.
You accurately captured a lot of parts about this lady. If you look at the shading on their nose, it actually has dimension. You actually put the contour in there. But then you went in here and put too much time in every wrinkle. You accentuated the parts of the photo that you kind of don't want to accentuate. I don't know if I was the first one to say it, but I definitely wasn't the only one to say Leatherface when I looked at this tattoo. It's not a flattering look.
I had to show accuracy.
I think your accuracy is one of the stronger points on it. You nailed it, dude. It's a lot more accurate, not to pinpoint Jason, than his glasses. You had a tough one, but I think you did a great job on it, personally.
Jimmy.
Your weak point is you didn't go dark enough. In the hair, in the eyes, the beard goes to the jawline. You kind of created some highlights in there that made it look lighter.
One of my biggest fears was to make the tattoo so dark that it looked like a cover-up.
I mean, we see Dave all the time, and his hair's jet black. His eyes are super dark and smoky, and you took some liberties with your accuracy. Kind of takes away from what it could have really been.
That's what I first thought, because I was like, that's
You should have trusted it. You ended up doing way more work than you had to.
No better way to test accuracy than with portraits. We gotta send one of these guys home. Let's start off with Jimmy.
He has done smoother black and gray than his portrait. He just overthought it.
Yeah. There's a couple things that Jimmy did on there that changed the look of it. Mainly that lower jaw.
He highlighted a lot of areas that are clearly dark in the photo.
Next up, we have Kyle.
Trying to replicate every little nook and cranny, it's a lot to put in there. She has areas where she is not as wrinkled in this photo, like the circles of her cheeks.
I know it doesn't aesthetically look pleasing, but it's more accurate than the one that Jimmy did of you.
Yeah.
And it's more accurate than the one that Jason did.
But out of Jimmy, Jason, and Kyle, Jason did the most aesthetically pleasing of the three.
There was mistakes. The whole shape of the glasses is off. The ear is darker than the whole face, and it's not in the photo.
Today, we tested your accuracy by asking you to tattoo a portrait that matches a photo, down to the last drop of ink. Jimmy, Jason, Kyle, the three of you were slightly off, and any one of you could justifiably be sent home. Kyle, you're here because the human canvas jury voted that you had the worst tattoo of the day.
I didn't really expect that. That's the people you're trying to please first, so that sucks.
This tattoo is way too little for all that texture. You don't have enough room to let the tattoo breathe, and that's what made it look so dark.
There's a lot of that's gonna come out. Those creases, they weren't done with solid black at all.
Jason.
You didn't do a horrible tattoo, but when we line it up against everybody else's and look at the accuracy of all these things, the ear, the hair, the glasses, it's those details that are wrong.
I saw my shortcomings on that tattoo, and I know that this is not the best of me.
Jimmy.
Jimmy, you won Black and Gray Day, but because this challenge was named portrait, it hindered your black and gray. There was a lot of inaccuracies in your portrait. You should have stuck with your gut.
The judges have decided. Jason, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. Please pack your machines and close shop. You have 6 hours to tattoo an X-Men color portrait, and your time starts now.
Okay, let's do this. When looking at a color portrait, you're looking for it to be an exact replica of the photo. Therefore, everything has to be precise. The eyes have to line up, the shading on the nose has to be just right. You have to capture every little essence of the face.
So I'm feeling really good about my tattoo. It's coming out exactly the way I want it to.
Very nice, very nice. It's looking really good. The nose, lips, eyes, cheekbones look exactly like the reference. I love it.
My canvas wanted to get the knives in, but I'm very concerned about time. I'm very upset that I can't put them in. If I don't finish this tattoo, I'm screwed.
Because Warpath always has knives, as soon as you take his knives out, it's no longer Warpath. It could just be anybody. This is a huge mistake.
I just hope it looks good. You think it's gonna look good?
I think it'll look cool.
Okay.
Today, we ask you to use technical precision to create an X-Men color portrait. Lydia, what happened here with the negative space underneath this gentleman?
He initially had the knives, but I didn't have enough time, so I just figured I'd put a big X down there.
What makes this character recognizably X-Men are those blades. Missing those, it's very difficult for me to know who this is.
The problems with just the structure of the portrait, the shape on one side of the nose, the crease you put in and the dark shadow, they don't line up. In the photo, his lips are straight. In your tattoo, they look crooked. That's a big mark to miss.
Roland.
When you're doing a portrait, you got to copy the structure of the face. She does not even have the same shape. The color fades are not there.
Color, as you know, is not my forte.
I don't find any redeeming qualities in this tattoo at all.
All right, today, technical precision, color portraits of X-Men characters. Let's talk about the bottom of the day. Lydia did Warpath.
This technical precision that she's lacking shows in just looking at the shape of the lips and looking at the shadow along the side of the face and the look of the hair.
It will take a lot of work to fix this face up.
And Roland.
This tattoo didn't keep the shape of the face. He didn't put the shadows on the tattoo in the same place as shadows in the portrait.
This is the antithesis of technical precision.
Today, you tattooed the best test of precision that there is, a color portrait. Roland, you're here because Scott put you up for elimination. Scott, why did you put Roland up for elimination?
I felt that his piece was one of the weakest. This one, that was it for him, in my opinion.
I will admit this is a very difficult tattoo that's been out of my repertoire, but I'm here to fight. I'm here to stay here.
Lydia, you're here because the human canvases determined that you had the worst tattoo of the day.
As far as my tattoo being worse than Roland, I don't agree with that. I believe I'm a better tattoo artist than him.
When the human canvas jury calls you down, that for you is a major nail in the coffin. That's your client base.
It was a tough tattoo to get through, and I overthought it.
Roland and Lydia, either one of you could be packing your machines. The judges have decided. Roland, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. Okay, artists, you have 6 hours to tattoo a portrait. Only 5 of you remain, and 4 of you will move on. And your time starts now.
Right.
Let's do it.
Get on it.
You just stand straight up and just relax. With portraits, precision's essential because this is where everything has to be dead on. Every single drop of ink that you apply to that portrait is going to be a reflection of the face in the picture, and it can't be off. If you change a feature on a face, you're out.
When I do a tattoo, I'm like, do this tattoo like you would be okay with walking around with it.
My canvas originally wanted his wife's portrait on his arm, and I talked him into moving it on his thigh. This is much better placement, but this tattoo has a lot of things going against me right now. The hair could totally make or break this tattoo. I need to make sure the hair is flowing, but not super crazy. And on top of everything, it is so stressful having this woman watch me tattoo her face. This is a ton of pressure right now.
That's what stoked me out on it, man, is all the little crazy medals and stuff, you know what I mean?
Give me a chance to get fancy.
I purposely picked this photo because you can't really see the face. My strategy is to make this jacket and this helmet look so on point that it's undeniably a good tattoo, and they can only pick apart the face so much because the face isn't even there.
Holy crap, that's sick.
All the little detail on the medals, it's like, holy Christ.
Cruzman's tattoo turned out exactly like we thought it would. It's busted. His face looks like it's melting down his neck. It's not fixable. That portrait will never look right. Cruzman, pack your bags.
Today, you had to give canvases and their loved ones a way to stay together even when military service keeps them apart by tattooing a portrait. Cruzman, let's start with you. Speaking about precision specifically, there are really great examples of that in the uniform itself. I love what you did with the name tag and the little elements on the jacket, those fine details.
That's why I picked this one. There was the least amount of face to do, and I am not a portrait tattooer, so I figured that that was my only hope of holding on.
It looks like some of the shading in the face got away from you, especially that line in the nose.
The shading you put in the nose takes the nose in the wrong direction. His chin going into his neck, you needed to up the definition of that a little bit to show which one of these crease lines is his actual face and which one is the neck.
You see what you did inside the jacket with the tie and that reflection of the shirt? You were confident because it wasn't a face.
I totally was.
If you're not confident in a face, don't treat it like a face. Just treat it as shapes and go in with the same confidence that you go in the jacket area, because you can do it. There are examples of the precision that's necessary to hit those things. One thing I will say about your portrait is you do have smooth, good areas of gray, but the really heavy cheeks that you gave her, those really weren't as pronounced in the photo. You changed their face completely by sagging her out. And because you didn't shade the two back teeth on the right, as dark as it is in the photo, you give her buck teeth.
The problem with your hair is where it meets the head. It looks like she's bald, and she's wearing a wig, and the wig is slipping off to the back. You put a real crease between her bridge of her nose up to her eyebrow. It totally recontoured the lay of the land. You don't capture the spirit.
Today we're testing precision with portrait tattoos.
Cruzman definitely has a lot of problems in his tattoo. The dark shading he put in the face in the wrong spots.
Looks like something bad happened to him.
He's got a broken nose for sure.
The ridge of the nose is a right turn, and that's really taking this tattoo out.
Duffy's, I don't think it looks like this woman at all. If you look at her photo, she's an attractive woman, but the tattoo, it is scary.
Duffy really loses it because she gives this woman melting cheeks, incredibly pushed out teeth. She has some really nice shading in this. Her shading is nicer than Cruzman's, but unfortunately it's not right.
Today you had to tattoo the ultimate test of precision, a portrait. It's time to find out who the human canvas jury determined had the worst tattoo of the day. Duffy, you're here because the human canvas jury determined that you had the worst tattoo of the day.
That's the last thing I wanted to do, was disappoint you, especially under the circumstances.
Frank and Gladys, why did the jury vote Duffy to the bottom?
My wife looks a little different.
My face looks bigger than what it is. My teeth are a little bit closer together, and the hairline looks receded on one side. I just look different.
Every single mistake counted on this one.
I've over-exaggerated some things I thought would be really good definition. I apologize.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all right, kiddo.
It's just not the tattoo you want to disappoint on for sure.
When I look at Cruzman's first glance, it looks like the photo, but when I pay attention to the face, it's up. One line of shading on your nose, this tattoo.
Because you don't cap the ridge to create that hot spot on the bulb of the nose. Without that, you completely change the dynamic of the face.
If it at least just had one perimeter outline around this guy's facial shape, it would not look like he's wearing a wet paper bag for skin. A few little lines could have kept you out of the bottom.
Well, we have the last master and apprentice duo standing here before us. One can move on, and one has to go home, and we have to decide that.
If they're equal, flows for the master. He gave her the gift of tattooing, and when it's handed over properly, look where good tattooing ethics gets the apprentice to the end.
I'll say that the reason why Cruzman's is more appealing is not the portrait part of the tattoo, it's the uniform, the framework that lent itself to look more like that photo. But when you go down to face versus face, I think Duffy's face looks more human. The judges have decided. Duffy, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. Please pack your machines and close shop. Okay, artists, you will have 6 hours to tattoo matching portraits. Your time starts now.
All right.
Yes. When you go get a portrait, you don't want it to almost look like the person, almost don't count.
I think I should go a little bit smaller than this and a little bit bigger than that.
It's very important that they stay precise to the photo as well as to each other. This is tough. You don't know if your partner's gonna go off on a tangent and do something crazy.
Are you super ready?
Let's do this, April.
Can you check what I'm doing to make sure that we're on the same page?
Yeah.
I am at Eva's mercy on this one. I'm definitely not the best portrait tattooer.
So this is the gap where it's like where this is.
Yeah, there's one lower and one higher.
So
And they kind of wrap around. Yep, you got it.
like that.
Yeah, that looks good to me.
I know that she knows what she's doing, so I'm just gonna try to do the same. It's a trust game at this point.
What do you got for in this section? Is that a 1 and then this is a skin tone, or is that?
Most likely. I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little worried about Tom because it has been so long since he's done a portrait.
I'm gonna say that's a skin tone. Yeah, that's a skin tone. Or I'm sorry, that's a 1.
I just hope that he can rely on my strengths to help guide him through it because you can't wander on a portrait. You have to do exactly what's in front of you.
Today, you had to tattoo the ultimate test of precision, matching portraits, allegory arts.
You very clearly missed the mark on details in the photo. Y'all had the same approach for this nose, but that is not a human nose. It has a very feline look to it.
Ulyss, the tattoo doesn't look like this little girl. The eyes, they're just different shapes.
Well, Eva, I think you did get in there with a lot more precise detail on the hair. And overall, the technique and the shading is smoother, but you still distort the shape of her face. The shading you put above her left eye, you create these indentions and protrusions that just aren't there.
Nailed it.
The coffin, yeah.
Classic trilogy tattoo.
Let's keep it 100. Your tattoos, they're different, big time. The hair looks different, the eyes look different, the noses, the mouths.
Tom's eyes are doing different things. One's looking up, one's bugging out.
You create this real stern lip on that right eye that gives it more of a creature type feature on the outside. Swing and a miss.
Artistic skin design.
Usually you look at a portrait and you're drawn to the eyes. I'm drawn to the clothing. On both of them, that sweater and that shirt, I see precision all day, but it just looks like a different artist did the top half.
In both of them, the hair is completely different. Dane, you brought the left side down a little further. In April, you brought the right side up a little. They're not consistent or precise with the photo, and certainly not with each other. All right, guys, today we're testing precision. Who do you guys think are on the chopping block to go home? Neither of these tattoos look like each other, nor do they look like the child.
How do the eyes that occurred on Eva's face, how does that even occur? And then artistics, these things.
Wow. They must have wasted 4.5 hours on that little sweater and collar and about 1.5 hours on the face.
But I'd rather have classic in the bottom. I don't think either one of them capture a portrait-style tattoo or this face.
Today, you had to prove that your precision is on point. Based on your work, one shop will be packing their machines. All right, jury appears. Why did you vote Allegory Arts to the bottom?
This was the cutest, most adorable subject, and that's not what the tattoos look like.
Guys, there's a lot of things here that are off. The discrepancy in the eyes, the Y's in the nose, just a huge head shaker.
But they look closer to the same artist than Classic Trilogies does.
But I put a face that was more accurate to the photo.
Yeah, I think that you look at classic trilogies, neither one of them look like the photo, and neither one of them look like each other.
If they both looked exactly like yours, Derek, I would have no problem.
I definitely dropped the ball.
This application is just messy.
Just look at the hair and you're like, what is that?
But it is a woman, artistic skin design. If you're not looking at the kid, they look like little old men.
Both these tattoos have a very undone feel for me.
Normally when I do portraits, I build up layers, and there was no building up layers.
Well, I think you just panicked. It started getting red, and you're like, damn, I don't want to put no more ink. But sometimes you just got to trust your skill. If you would have tattooed the rest of the portrait at the level you tattooed the clothing, you wouldn't have been there, you know?
Well, we do have to make a decision here.
Too much of a mess. Classic Trilogy.
I'm just a canvas, and Allegory looks like a weird kid. My vote is for Allegory.
I'd rather wear Derek's tattoo than any of Allegory. But it's a competition, and it's not what I want. It's what the competition wants, so they did them exactly alike. They did them different. I guess I would have to say classic.
The judges have decided Classic Trilogy tattoo. You do not have what it takes to be master shop.
You guys tattoo a little different, and I think that's what got you here. Learn from this.
Hell yeah.
Please pack your machines and move out.
We're doing full size. These details are gonna be like as close as I can. It's gonna be like a pinup. Well, I was thinking about maybe like doing like a little flower in front of it. You know, so you have like a little illustration, and then like you have her, so it makes sense, like the transition.
But that's like flower on my wrist. I don't give a shit about flowers at all.
Maybe I could put a ribbon under it.
But I don't know if I like the ribbon.
This canvas is giving me such a hard time. She doesn't want to work with me in any aspect of this.
Could you do like a stone?
I think that's gonna feel like morbid, like a tombstone.
I personally don't mind if it just ends.
I do. Like that's like the most unartistic way to end it is unflattering.
She has to meet me in the middle or I'm going home.
The flower is literally just an afterthought.
But I feel like it's tacky. And then tomorrow I'll be like, what the did I do?
Artists, you have 6 hours to tattoo a traditional illustrative portrait. And your time begins now.
All right, dude, let's do it.
See if we can get this thing to work.
Step on over here, man.
This is Portrait Day with a twist. We're asking these artists to do renderings of photographs. So the photograph and the portrait that they create have to look alike, but they have full license to use heavy lines, heavy color, deep black shading.
I think we'll be able to pull it off. Let's do it.
They can do it as they see fit, as long as they capture the look of the picture.
I was afraid that I scared you away. I wasn't trying to be mean. I hope she doesn't think
No,
I'm actually really
I
nice.
definitely went back and I was like, I don't think this is gonna work.
Since I gotta go more illustrative, now I have to show a little bit more detail, and the face is too small to show all the details and make it look like this person.
I got a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, we felt the same, but we feel the same now, so that's better.
That's it.
It has teeth in the tattoo, and I don't know how to approach this without making it look like it has veneers.
Ah, shit, Grandma's got a mustache.
Oh my God, I was like, are you kidding?
Tough crowd, tough crowd.
I am shook as
Jason.
There's aspects of this that you do capture at least the look of the subject, but I'm not a fan of the hair. The black stripe that you put in the hair for the shading makes it look like the hair's flattened and then he's got a big poofy back. The right side of the hair doesn't really look like hair. It looks like a shape tucked to the side. The left eye to me looks like he got punched. Only that eye has this darkness to it.
But adding the lure and the border, it is traditional illustrative style.
I don't love this tattoo from you at all, but capturing the look, okay.
Pond.
As far as capturing the look of the person with a simple drawing, you don't do it. If you look at her right eye, the top of her eye is curved, and the tattoo, it's a straight line and then curved underneath. Just the little looks of what's going on, you lose it. The shape of the mouth is off, the width of the neck.
As dark as you went in the collarbone, as weird as the shoulders come out, I can be like, okay, it's stylized, gritty, it's whatever if you're looking to go that route of illustration, but what I can't not see is the precision in the face. Your eyes don't line up. The nose has a crazy curve to it. The mouth is off center. That's all the places where you need to be precise.
Women's team, you're next. Laura.
It is a nice, well-applied tattoo, but it's hard for me to say that this really looks like this girl. The expression on the face, you're not really getting that little tight grin, and her neck looks really wild. The way you have the back of her shoulder and her neck going all the way up to the ear makes her neck enormous.
That sucks. The other thing that I really dislike, these black lines you put on her forehead that aren't connected, that are just random black lines there. I know that you're trying to show the suggestive loose hairs, but it's very strange play.
Today we're testing precision with traditional illustrative portraits.
Really assessing who did the best or the worst comes down to hitting the likeness of the subject, Pawn's displacement of the facial features. That's the problem. The eyes have to be on the same plane.
Creepy Jason, I don't know that that necessarily looks like the gentleman in the photo either. That mustache on the tattoo is literally a comb flipped upside down.
It's super plastic potato-y face. He really doesn't hit it.
Another artist that took some liberties in terms of shapes is Laura, surprisingly.
I just don't think it looks like the girl, really. The face looks different, the nose looks different, the mouth looks different.
Not working to her favor today.
Today you're being tested on precision, and based on your work, one of you will be packing your machines. Danny, why did the women's team vote Jason to the bottom?
Laura felt that she could defend herself better with Jason's.
I mean, I'm sorry, Jason. Mine is the stronger out of the two, basing off of inconsistencies in the shading in the face, color packing, and then also the streaky white highlights.
Yes, her application may be a little better than mine, but that's not to say that her tattoo is without its own flaws. The scratchy lines around the lips, that could have been solid. The little pieces of hair that start away from the hairline is an awkward choice.
The little wispies in the hair, I mean, you can't pull that off in a traditional way by doing these little soft wispies.
But you'd connect it to the hairline. There's big, thick black hairs growing out of the girl's forehead. When we look at these things that have to hit precision, you guys really got stumped. Jason, when you draw, you're at your best. And then when you have to work off something, we see where the chinks are in the armor. All the things in here that you do, which is what you do, like rope, background, allure, they have your style. They have a signature of you. What looks out of place is the figure. On your tattoo could have easily been that pinup style where you could have yesed your customer to death, but done it the way you do it.
I got shooken up and I just went back in with blacks, making everything darker.
The face not having the precision that we're looking for, and the fact that you have some rougher shading, it's not hitting the traditional, it's not hitting the precision.
I've showed you guys in the past like what I've done. I know there's no report cards, but this is all bizarre to me be down here. Like, I've never had any application problems or anything like that. Like, I've consistently did clean tattoos. I just had one hiccup of a day, and I know that's all it takes to send you home.
Ultimately, one thing is for sure, these canvases wanted a rendering that looked like the photo. So that's where I'm coming from. My decision is for pawn.
Pawn.
The judges have decided. Pawn. You do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
Hey, man, I'm glad to have made it this far.
Please pack your machines and close shop.
Thank you, guys.